Sebastian was routinely taking a sleep aid, and he believes that Sebastian probably wouldn't go to sleep.
I believe that this is a domino effect of events. We have to go all the way back to probably December and January are going to be key months. There was a lot of turmoil surrounding Sebastian.
What is your theory of what happened to your son, Sebastian? What did Seth say?
He explained to me that Sebastian was routinely taking a sleep aid, and he believes that Sebastian probably wouldn't go to sleep. So his mom, Katie, overdosed him and caused his death. That's what he told me.
Why don't you want to go back? And he wouldn't tell me. He didn't say why. He was just like, I just don't want to go back. And now I'm finding out a lot of this stuff. And I wish he had told me.
Hello and welcome back to my channel. Thank you all so much for joining me today. In this episode, we're going to continue on discussing the Sebastian Rogers case. Now let's talk about the clip there from Nancy Grace. We find out that Sebastian's father, Seth, he has suspicions. He's thinking possibly Sebastian had been given some sleep medication and that maybe it was too much for him, that there was some kind of an overdose. That is his own suspicion. He told that to the polygrapher that Nancy Grace had arranged for him. I also heard Seth talking about this before. He said after him and Katie got divorced, he was concerned that Katie was giving Sebastian certain medications and Seth was not happy about it. Also, Sebastian had to go to some sort of therapy for the incident that happened in California, and that we'll get into later. At this point in time, there has been no arrest. All of these characters are innocent until proven guilty in a court of law, which has not happened yet. So we're going to find out from one of the PIs that her perspective after investigating the case, it shows her that there was a lot of, quote, turmoil going on in the months before Sebastian disappeared. She refers to both the stepdad and Katie, the relationship, things that were going on with Sebastian, and how that might have been kind of a storm surrounding Sebastian, and how that might have brought about this whole disappearance. We're going to have a look at those details, and remember to leave your comments below if anything comes to mind that you are interested in discussing, or if you've noticed there's something new that you've come across, we can discuss that as well. Now let's have a listen to this segment here.
The thud that they heard.
Well, I can tell you that from my investigation, I believe that this is a domino effect of events. I believe that we have to go all the way back to probably December and January are going to be key months. There are a lot of events. There was a lot of turmoil surrounding Sebastian. We know that Chris Proudfoot was in the middle of a custody battle with his ex-wife. We know that the daughter did visit over Christmas break. We know that Sebastian was with Seth during that time. We know that that there was a DCS referral in, I believe, February to the Stafford home. That call was likely determined to be unfounded because the case was closed and that file is restricted at this time. I know Seth has tried to find out more about that call and he has been unsuccessful in doing so. But I've also recently learned that there may have been some talk about Chris leaving Katie, and I feel that probably had something to do with Sebastian. So there may have been some trouble in paradise. To me, these are all things that need to be considered. Could these things have led up to maybe Sebastian just feeling a certain kind of way,
Right.
and leaving? You know, if he overheard a conversation between Chris and Katie where Chris is saying he can't deal with it anymore, he's out, whatever, you know, that
Right.
could have been motivation for Sebastian to just leave.
All right, so there might have been some trouble in paradise. Now, I know that this woman, this private investigator that we just heard talking, she's no longer helping out. What I heard was that there was a lot of backlash coming to this PI and also towards Chloe.
Well,
It doesn't
and
matter,
I
though.
did want to clear
That
it
does
up.
not
Chris.
matter.
I
Doesn't
did want
matter
to clear
one
it up,
iota.
Chris. I
Chris?
did reach out to you on March 17th, publicly and privately. You responded to me publicly. You asked me to ask my question publicly. I did. You didn't respond. I reached out to you privately again. So I have reached out to you.
Where in the public? Where?
I reached out to you on Facebook. I reached out to you on Facebook Messenger privately. You've never read my message.
Well, don't take this the wrong way, but a lot of the bullshit that I get in Facebook.
No, that's fine. That's
I'm
fine.
not-
I just want to make
Yeah.
it clear that
Can I explain to you?
yeah.
You send me messages along with thousands of other people.
I understand that. And that's why I took it public. And you did respond to me and ask me to ask my question publicly because you wanted whatever answer you were going to give to be public to clear it up.
What was the question that you asked me? Since I neglected your question,
And
what
that's not
was
what
your
I'm
question?
saying. That's not what I'm saying. I want to make it clear that I haven't not tried to reach out to you.
Chris, I know you're mad. God, I can feel it. I can hear it, and I understand it. You've got to believe me when I tell you this. Please, if you can dial it back a bit and get us some of these answers and let us help you clear up this bull so it doesn't interfere anymore. And like I said, you're always going to have crazy people interfering and coming up with rumors, and it's so maddening and frustrating, and I hate it. It pisses me off more than anything, and anybody that knows me knows
It
that.
pisses you off? You're not in our shoes.
I know.
You haven't been in our shoes.
Okay, well, you don't know that, but I haven't been in your shoes and missing a child, no. But believe me, I can understand what you're going through, and what I'm saying is we can help you, Chris. We can help you, all right? Anybody here in this chat that asked about a cemetery, it's because somebody else brought it up. Just tell us.
Exactly. And my question comes back to, where do these people come up with this crazy crap?
That's $1 million question. I don't know.
Yeah.
What we saw on that live podcast with Trisha is basically the tip of the iceberg in reference to Sebastian's stepfather. There was a lot of fighting. There was a lot of negative communication coming from him towards the ladies that night on the live that they had. He called in and he was very rude towards the host, towards the viewers. And she did comment on that the following night as well. Now, I noticed she was actually very, very gracious as a host, especially considering what she had coming towards her. The animosity and just the rude words, the way that he was talking towards both of them was really bad. Now, after that, there was a phone call that came out, and what is being said towards Chloe it's just horrible. There were some threats. There was a lot of negativity, and she definitely doesn't deserve that. I did hear they wanted to have the dogs come out, possibly to Chris's parents' property. Maybe that was being arranged, and that probably got under his skin.
Fucking shows.
Uh-huh.
And it's caused a shitstorm.
Which statement?
About releasing Katie's parents' personal information and shit on Katie's past. Said she has it, but she wasn't going to release it. It caused a shitstorm. And now everybody went out there and got it and released it.
She said Katie's mom's name?
She didn't say the name. She just insinuated she had the information.
I mean, we do have the information, but...
Yeah, and let me tell you what the started. Now all that information is out in the open. And somebody better explain to me very goddamn quickly. Preferably her. That had any goddamn thing to
have
with
no
this case.
idea.
Yeah, because I'm gonna tell you
I don't know what was said.
That better find a way to stop it.
Where's the
nothing? It's everywhere, all over the internet that people have released on these stupid ass shows and all these Facebook things.
Okay.
It was never out there until that opened her mouth.
Okay, well, I haven't been looking at it today or really yesterday, so I don't know what's out there.
I'm
I'll have to
telling
look for
you,
it.
I am being very polite as I can possibly be to her.
Mm-hmm.
If she don't find a way to fix it, I promise her I am not going to be so goddamn pleasant when I see her.
Okay.
And I will bring the cops with me.
All right. Well, I'll talk to her.
I mean, how she takes that. I don't care how she takes it. I really don't give a goddamn what I have to do. But I can promise you, there's a difference in helping find Sebastian and just being a stupid
Okay, well, let me ask you something just for a second. Like, are you sure it was her and not like one of these sleuthers or something? Because other people
her on the show.
Okay.
It is her.
Okay, because there's other people that are digging.
Or sleuths, whatever that woman's name is.
Web sleuths.
Yeah, whatever.
I mean,
it was on that show.
But I don't see. I can't see Chloe just giving out that information though.
She did. You're missing my statement.
Okay.
I didn't say she gave the information out. I said she made a statement that she had it and wouldn't release it. That right there was a trigger to start this shitstorm. When she shouldn't have opened her mouth in the beginning.
Okay.
I don't know what kind of PI or whatever the she thinks she is or how she does this. But if she needs a education and schooling on being a PI, I guarantee you I'll find somebody who is truly a PI and let them school with this woman.
All right. Well, let me try to figure it out because I know neither her or I have given out any of Katie's information.
It's not giving it out. Yeah. All you have to do is start one sentence. I have the information. I'm not going to release it.
Yeah.
She started a shitstorm. She better figure out how to fix it. I'm telling you, I am being very polite as I can possibly be to her.
Anyhow, let's get back to this whole idea about trouble in paradise. Now, what this PI is saying, she basically said at the end that possibly because of all this negativity, the turmoil, maybe this is what caused Sebastian to leave, or what most of us are thinking. According to a poll that I've done, many polls actually, that I've put up on the community tab, the majority of people think that there is foul play. And so in that case, this trouble in paradise would be the cause for Sebastian vanishing, but not leaving or walking out on his own. Now, this is a very sad and tragic situation. We don't know what happened here, but it seems that there was some pressure going on, some negativity. And the thing that kind of has me a little bit, I guess, confused or just wondering is that Sebastian did make it to 15 years old and he looks like, he's well and healthy. He had that last day where he had a lot of fun. He was taken out to the Texas Roadhouse and he went out bowling. He got his popcorn. He saw family. I don't know if there was anything else that had happened when he visited his family. I did hear some comments about that, but I'm not really sure. But the point is that he seemed to be having an okay time, and he made it to 15 years old. So I would think there would be an attachment after so many years, and he was able to get to this stage, that it's kind of an accomplishment. He would definitely want to have more freedom, more responsibility. He would have more capabilities. Being older, it is more difficult, of course, to raise a baby or a child, a toddler. That takes a lot more attention from a parent. But now, having reached this age, I just find it hard to believe that someone would harm him and get rid of him at this point, especially when we know that he was supposed to be going with his father, Seth. Now, I do question if there is a monetary issue going on here. They say in these cases, oftentimes, you've got to follow the money, and that would take us into questioning the finances. What is the financial responsibility for Sebastian? Is there something which would have to be paid to Seth? If Seth was to take over Sebastian to himself, would Katie and Chris have to pay child support for him because Seth is taking care of him? Does Sebastian receive a benefit because he has autism, that he has this special need? Is it possible that he's receiving a certain amount of money and that is for his parent to care for him? Was that funding going to Katie, and was that going to be cut off or switched over and being given to Seth Rogers instead? Also, was there any life insurance on Sebastian? Oftentimes in these cases, we see that the kids have some form of life insurance, and it could be a hefty sum. We've seen in many cases where some kids have, 100, 200, 500,000 life insurance on them. And so that makes me question if there's motivations here in this case, which we are simply not aware of, that haven't come out yet. Possibly, of course, the law enforcement would have looked into this already, and so they have more information as far as motivations. But again, it is very interesting that Sebastian's custody, he was going to be moving in with his dad, with his biological father, Seth Rogers. And so how does that affect this case? If Katie was having a difficult time with Sebastian and she was worried about possibly losing her relationship. Now, this is all just speculation, but those are the rumors going on. So if that was a motivation, then it's really not there, because Sebastian was going to be leaving to stay with his father. They wouldn't have to get rid of him because he was already going to be leaving. And so that makes me wonder more about what a motivation might be. And then with Sebastian himself, we hear from Seth, he knew that Sebastian didn't want to go back with Katie and Chris Proudfoot. This is coming from Seth.
Why don't you want to go back? And he wouldn't tell me. He didn't say why. He was just like, I just don't want to go back. And now I'm finding out a lot of this stuff. And I wish he had told me.
And so therefore, if that is true, then Sebastian would be happy and planning to move in with his father. He would be looking forward to that, I suppose. And so this all gets more complicated, and there's so many questions as to why. Why would Sebastian have left? But there is nothing as far as proof showing that Sebastian left the house. As Katie said, why he walked out the door. And they have now specified that it must have been the front door which Sebastian left from. But there's no recording of that. There is nothing to prove that he actually left the house. Another big question which has come up. We hear there is a mattress.
Question
Yes, ma'am.
regarding Faith's furniture.
Yes,
A few
ma'am.
days after Sebastian goes missing, did you replace furniture in Faith's room?
No, ma'am. I have not replaced any furniture in my daughter's room.
Is there any new furniture in the home?
Yes, ma'am. There's a bed that was given to me, and it's currently in my garage.
Has anything been taken out of the home?
No, ma'am.
Has anything been taken out of the home?
No, ma'am.
All right, so Nancy gets down to the big question about new furniture in the house, whether or not they've taken furniture out of the house. And Chris answers no, that they haven't. But they do have a bed in the garage. Now that has caused a lot of questions, a lot of speculation on why they have this bed in the garage. Nancy asked Chris about the bed. Chris Proudfoot said that someone gave him that bed. And many of us are wondering if the bed was used for Sebastian, if Sebastian possibly was being punished, if he was forced to stay in that bed, possibly he didn't like that and he took off, or if it was too cold. And then we have the issue of possibly of hypothermia, that he froze in that bed. Also, Nancy asked specifically if they'd taken any furniture out of the house, and Chris said no, that they hadn't done that. But that is also very important, because often in these cases there could be something removed which would have evidence. For example, you'll see in a lot of these cases there's maybe even rug, wood flooring taken out and covered up. It could be blankets, it could be bedding, it could be pillows, it could be a mattress, it could be a chair, it could be just about anything that might be taken out of the house. But of course, they're not going to admit it if they did do that. With this bed in the garage, it does seem kind of odd, because what we've heard a lot about, if you have a look at the vocabulary, the words that they've used, there's a lot surrounding bedtime, saying goodnight, the bed. We found out from Sebastian's father, it seems that he might have had some issue actually falling asleep. And so Katie had some medications for that problem. But Seth thinks that might be the issue here, that maybe he got too much of that. And so with this bed in the garage, is that an important part of this case? Is that a piece of the puzzle for why Sebastian is now missing? If the bed is still there, then it might be a piece of evidence. So I'm kind of questioning that. But again, a lot of their vocabulary, you'll notice, revolves around saying goodnight, going to bed, being in his bedroom, and then we find out about the thud, that introduction. Does that have to do with something that happened in his bedroom? And so I'm really not sure if this is more so of, let's say, a red herring, just a story that they're making up. Because the strange thing is that Sebastian was not seen leaving the house. But again, this house has the 3-car garage, and the vehicle is kept inside the garage. So it would have been very easy for two things to happen. For one, for Katie to get back into that house. After she left the roadhouse, she could get into the house without anyone seeing if Sebastian was with her. And then again, for Katie to get out of the house without anyone seeing if Sebastian is in her vehicle when she left. So it's just very strange for a 15-year-old boy to be able to leave the house without any of the neighbors seeing him. If there were trucks out, they say that the garbage trucks were out, then wouldn't they have possibly seen something? Wouldn't a camera have recorded something? Because I know that, The cameras can see at night. They have night vision these days. Even doorbell cameras have night vision these days, so I know that along the path going to the retention pond also, those homes have cameras. Security footage would be recorded once you pass by the house. And Sebastian would have snuck out. I guess he would be on the lawn sneaking out in that direction. And so nobody saw him, nobody heard him. I mean, it's hard to believe. And then to this day, he hasn't been seen nowhere. Not on any security footage, not a single person seeing him, nothing. And there's no sign of life. So we kind of have to go back to the Texas Roadhouse. That is the last recording of Sebastian. So you have to start from right there. That is square one. That is where he's seen. And for that reason, we really can't start at the house. We can't start off, for example, definitely not start off from when the police are phoned. You have to start way back from when he was really seen. But as far as this bed, which was in the garage, leave me your comments. Let me know what your theories are having to do with that mattress. And what do you think? Does it have something to do with the case? Obviously, it's got to still be there because he is talking about it. They're not hiding that it was there. And so the police would have access to it. But we're not going to hear about that until and if there are charges. If this goes to trial, then every last piece of evidence is going to be looked at. So I know there's very few people, as far as percentages, there's very few who think that Sebastian walked away from the home. The last time I checked, it was 8% of people who thought he had ran away. But the majority think that there's foul play, possibly that he had been injured and that he's hidden. My idea was more so that he'd never made it to the house. And then we have the theory that yes, he did make it back home. And people suspect maybe he had been in the garage and maybe that he froze or that, there's medication at play here. As far as Chris Proudfoot, his being at work, that has not been debunked. I think by now, if he was lying about being at work, that would have come out. But still, a 3-hour drive, that could have happened overnight. So for me, it's still a possibility. All right. So let me know what you think. Please check out the Facebook group and go over to my Patreon. It's free to join. It's free for everyone. I hope to see you there. Say hello. So that is it for today. Thank you so much for joining me. Remember to subscribe, like, and share, and turn on your bell so that I have you back next time. Thank you so much, and bye for now.